Thank you for listening to SSB Wannabes. Make sure you keep up to date by following us on Twitter at SSB_wannabes with 1E. Sometimes our schedule gets the best of us and we can't record when we want to, so keep your eyes on Twitter and you'll always know when the new episode is up. Anyway, enjoy the show.
Small Hands Brian is the best Mario player I've played to date. Now, you might think that's not saying much, but let me tell you that this guy is an absolute beast. He's ranked 7th in the Northeast Ohio region, and we got to know each other decently well, but we're continuing that trend after SmashCon. So, Small Hands Brian, what's up, my guy?
Hi, nice to be here. I really appreciate the opportunity to come on this podcast.
Yeah, man. I just figured that we had a first to 5 that didn't start off that way. I kind of want to. Do you want to tell the story, or should I?
You can tell the story.
Okay, so we played in bracket, and it was like mad close, super fun. And afterwards, we're like, yeah, okay, we gotta calm down, but yeah, after let's play later. And yeah, sure, cool. We run into each other later. You're like, yo, let's play. I'm like, yeah, okay. We grab a setup. Takes a little while to find a setup. It was it's always hard, And we find one, and I'm like, yo, we put some money down. We have dollars on the table. People are not going to bother us. And you're like, yeah, word, okay. So you put a few bucks down. I put a few bucks. We just start playing friendlies. We're not actually money matching. And then Fable comes up from behind us, and he's like, hey, when you guys are done money matching, could I money match my friend? And we just looked at each other sure.
Yeah, we totally were just kind of we tried to create some sort of I guess deception so no one would bother us with we have money on the table, so no one's gonna tap us on our shoulder while we're playing. And the dude comes up and we're just we just totally kind of dropped. It was essentially a lie, but it's nothing we're no harm, no foul. We immediately dropped it after we got called out, but yeah, we definitely needed to try to keep that set up, and immediately we were on our second or third game or something.
Yeah.
And immediately just got bugged to lose the setup.
Yeah. So we're like, you know what? We deserve this. We got counterplayed. Whatever. We got up and then kind of immediately found another one, which was really lucky.
Oh yeah.
We sprinted over, slammed our shit down. All right. I'm like, do we do that again? Because there's sound logic in not wanting a 3-person setup.
Yeah.
I'm trying to you're leaving. I'm trying to get a good session in before you go. So then we actually we just did it first.
Yeah, we developed some counterplay the next time just in case that happened. We decided if anyone asks, we're on game 3 of a first to 5. You have 2. I have 1 win, so it's at least going to be another 3 games if you don't want to wait.
Yeah,
whoever some pretty strong meta for that.
Right. So whoever won the last game, it's 2-1, and then you get at least 3 more. And then you just have to one person takes the money, and then later on you just give it to them.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was fun, and the games we played were you got so much shit just down pat with that character, but it's so it's frustrating for me because that character sucks,
Yeah. A lot of people say he sucks, but every time I hear that, I tell people he's just underrated.
Okay.
I am a devout I guess I really am a devout advocate for how good Mario is. A lot of people kind of they just kind of buy into that Dr. Mario is better than Mario just because that's kind of been the story that's being told this entire time. I mean, you can even go look at, when Shroomed was playing Doc, all those years ago, they would say Doc is the best Mario brother. But I really feel Mario is really underexplored because if you go in the Mario Discord, there's only maybe 2 or 3 active people, and myself included in those 2 or 3. It's there's not a lot of people who are really trying to develop Mario as a character. It's all that effort is being put into Doc, and I want to try to show people that Mario is not just the worst Doc. Like Doc is not better than Mario, and I really do believe that.
Yeah, I think you have to believe that if you're going to stick with a character for so long, like especially a mid tier. I wouldn't call Mario. I don't think anyone's calling Mario like low tier. I don't think anyone is like splitting him too far away from Doc either. But they are very different characters.
Mhm.
They're kind of obviously they're melee clones like the Fox Falco type, whatever. But there's definitely differences and playstyle differences and all everything that comes along with being completely different characters. So it's also very funny to hear that all the efforts going into Doc, because I didn't even know that Dr. Mario was getting any sort of like metagame analysis, any sort of love.
Oh yeah, man. Like I'm not as active in the Doc Discord as I used to be, but like offhand, I can name you 5 Dr. Mario mains who are at least like decent enough at the game. But like I would really have to like scrounge my brain to name you 5 Marios. Like there's just not a lot of there's not a lot of effort being put towards Mario, and I don't really know why. There's someone you may have heard his tag is Palika or Palika. And
Yeah.
I've talked to him about it. He even has like a ginormous Reddit post on every single difference between Mario and Doc. Um, and I've talked to him about it, and I think he said he thinks Mario is like more fun as a character, but since Doc is better, he sticks with Doc instead. It's something very similar to those lines. I think he might have gotten into Smash through PM and played Mario there, where
Mm.
Mario was the same character, just depending on the skin. He had the same like Doc, there were no differences between Doc and Mario. It was only the skin in
Right.
Project M. So I think that's how which is essentially how I got in to Mario as well. But I don't. That's kind of like the problem is I feel like a lot of the Marios might even or a lot of the docs might agree with Mario being a more fun character, just because he's so much like he has so much like more recovery options and
Hmm.
he's got more range so you can kind of do riskier stuff. But Doc just in their eyes is better, but I refute that anytime I get the chance.
Right. Just to get really into the weeds, because I'm fascinated by this, is the big difference for Doc that I see is the fair, right? That's a big
Yeah.
one. Um, I feel like his back air like knocks back in a better way. Is that true?
Yeah, that is true.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the way his back air works is essentially it sends you at a uh it sends you down. It sends you out and down. So on
Hmm.
characters like, Falcon or Marth or Sheik or whatever who have those very like drifty type of recoveries, it's
Hmm.
it's all you just rinse and repeat back air. With Mario, it sends them like back but up, so they have more options to do that. Like I can't like if you're a Doc and you're back airing a Falcon or even someone like a DK, which I'm very experienced in that matchup, you can see that like the DK or the Falcon will like they'll keep being able to have more options and go higher, but against Doc they're going lower and lower and lower until they just inevitably die. And
Right.
that's like one of the biggest differences between Doc and Mario.
So you think that, okay, so there's obviously a school of thought that, or the mainstream school of thought is that Doc is better. Palika made the decision based off of research, or is he kind of sticking with what is developed at this point?
It'd probably be a mix of both. I'm not too certain. We have talked quite a few times about this. I know through the research, he definitely that would at least have been the final straw. But I think he might have started with Doc just because he felt better with Doc, like because Doc has
Mm.
because they when you think about it, it's between Mario who has better recovery and Doc who has kill confirms. You kind of just like I think at a lower level of play when you're just starting and you're picking your main, you kind of think of like this like Fox. Like Fox is super fast and great recovery and he has crazy kill options, so everybody's kind of drawn to those kinds of characters. But if
Right.
you're just looking at Mario and Doc specifically, you're looking at kill confirms over recovery and you choose which one you want just based on that like little bit of knowledge you have of both characters, I think.
Right. So it seems to me that Mario, the big thing that could be developed with him is the combo game kill confirm game, because I've seen when we were playing, you were really good at punishing, um, not necessarily like obvious approaches, but you would cover with forward smash if I were to drift in off like a full
Mm-hmm.
hop or something like that. So some people would contest with like lower hitting options, but you seem to have experience where you know that that move's going to kill. So launch it. Are there any other specifics that you think go under the radar, or you wish people noticed that you bring out in Mario?
Oh, a big thing is probably the up tilt. Like Mario's up tilt is like one of the better moves. I would honestly say in the game. I
Wow.
think Mario's up tilt is absolutely insane. It knocks down at about 33%. So like when we would play, our Fox Mario games, I would down throw you at about like 25, and then I would do the down throw, and then you're at like 32, 33, and then I up tilt, then you get knocked down, then it's a regrab. It just like there Mario, and it's such a good anti-air. There's a lot of
Yeah.
characters who like Peach who really love to like just do that back air, float like right at that, and they try to fade in and hit me with a dumb little bear. But like my up tilt can catch that out, can catch out a lot of Falcon stuff. There's so much that Mario's up tilt has, and it leads into so much. It's like with Doc. Doc has like that weird hitbox on his up tilt where like it's gonna send you super far out, and you get no follow up on that. It just that's
Right.
that's it. So that's kind of why like when I was trying to decide between the two, because I played when I was just deciding, I played the two like kind of extensively to kind of figure out what I liked. And whenever I got that Doc up tilt hitbox, it just turned me off from playing the character. So I went from the 100%. I went for the 100%, straight up hitbox with Mario's up tilt, and that's why I kind of chose him.
Right, and those confirms are really big. Obviously, you've developed your combo game after getting that grab and all that, but having an anti-air option, having those defensive options when you're playing against the faster characters, Fox, Falco, Falcon, etc. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense that the important part of those matchups would be converting off of some sort of defensive outmaneuver or some sort of that up tilt is huge. So that's very enlightening why you'd make the choice. I also like how you put in that effort, because I feel like a lot of mid-tier mains, not to lump you in with a group, but you're
Mm-hmm.
a mid-tier main,
Mm-hmm.
um, which comes with a lot of love, by the way. Like I have so much admiration because I'm a cop out. I'm a top character player. So there's a lot of appreciation that goes for playing someone based on what feels good rather than what gets results. Anyway, I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting sidetracked. I feel like there's a good amount of mid-tier mains that are that have like a love-hate with their character, or they feel like they continuously play it because they can, it begets its own, you know, popularity or whatever it is. Have you ever had those doubts with Mario? Have you ever felt like you wanted to switch characters?
Um, so I have never thought of since I picked Mario, and I guess we can kind of go into like my upbringing, I guess. Um, I had started like me and my friend Nick started in April of 2015. And since April 2015, there was a slight break of me deciding what game I wanted to play because I had the opportunity to play Melee, Smash 4, or PM. So through those like first 2 years, it was 2015 to 2017. I was kind of deciding which game I wanted to play, and when we had started, he started with Puff and I started with Fox, right? Because we both just picked the top tiers, just to learn the game with. And then as time went on, my Fox was very up smash spammy. I felt like I was relying on too much stuff. So in my way of trying to learn the fundamentals, I purposely picked a worse character, but someone I still found very fun. Because one thing I've always loved in games is one of the games I've spent the most time in is Guitar Hero. Big fan of that. So I really love like the high APM stuff. So I decided to go with Samus. I know Samus, like wave dash back, F tilt, all that stuff. But I learned all the stuff with like super wave dashing. I tried to be as fast as I could with Samus with wave dashing and all that, even though I was, I couldn't wave dash worth a crap. I just did, everything that I could, and I still kind of felt like everything was just sort of I wasn't really learning any fundamentals.
Right.
So, as, the 2 years go on, I switch games, I'm going from Smash 4 to PM from Melee. Like I spent a lot of time in all those, and I just never really found, one thing I have said is I've tried, I've tried maining everybody because I was really looking for that one character to click, and I spent time on, I can't even name the whole list. Like I basically spent at least a month of time in between playing all those games, not Smash 4 because there was way too many characters, and I really only liked Rob in that game anyway. But I spent so much time on every character trying to figure out who I wanted to play, and I just couldn't really find anybody. So it's never really been like a do I want to switch off and go to a different character type of thing, at least. It's mostly from like a Mario is just the only character that I see myself playing because I don't really so with Melee for me, I don't really like a lot of people will spend a whole bunch of time, like grinding and solo practicing and stuff, and I've just never found that enjoyable. So Mario is a character who, like, if I had to take like a week or two off of Melee, I could come back and not be super rusty. He's just really simple. He's someone who it's just like I really do not practice a lot, and I never really feel like I have to. All I do is, if we want to say like net play friendlies or whatever is practicing, then I practice all the time. But like I never really do like a solo practice thing just because I don't really think Mario needs it that much. I'll lab some stuff, but I don't really solo practice. I don't practice, chain grabs. I don't do anything like that unless it's specifically for labbing. I do that and then I'm done. It seems that like every character that I've seen in this game requires that, and that's not very fun to me. So I do what's most fun for me. I'll play Fox and Falco and Samus, who's my second favorite character. Like I will play those characters just for fun, but I will never switch my main off of Mario as far as I can see, unless something out of nowhere happens. Melee gets a patch and they add someone new. I do not see myself switching off of Mario.
Well, yeah, fingers crossed for that Melee patch coming.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. 1.03, dude. I'm so ready.
Yeah, featuring new characters. Well, barring that, yeah, it does seem that Mario fits your kind of philosophy on the game, at least from what I'm picking up. Where, like, obviously you got good. Obviously you are good. You have tech skill fundamentals, all the things that make a rising player, PR'd player, etc. But to your point about coming back, I think that's invaluable because a lot of times Melee feels like a forbidden mistress where you have to give it attention or else it will betray you.
Mm-hmm.
And especially coming from me, a Fox main, that's exactly how I feel. Where if I sign up for a major and I don't grind every day for weeks, going up to the major, then I'm gonna punish myself or I'm gonna SD the wrong time. Like all these things will go wrong. So it's really cool that there's a character like Mario being the all around middleman character. It definitely works out where it's not like you're completely screwing yourself. You're not playing like Ness or something,
Exactly.
Mewtwo, whatever. You could still move. Mario's mad fun to move around with. Like,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He's slick. He's really cool. Like you have sick tech. You have those like, the up B wall jumps or wall jumps in general. Like Mario has a lot of stuff. And I really think that you picked a good character kind of for how you treat the game. And I want to go into your philosophy a little more, like in a broader sense.
Okay.
Like when you found the game to now, has your philosophy changed and your attitude towards the game changed? Like that also goes into what are your goals? Like where do you see yourself in this community, this game? Why do you play it? The big question of I didn't really ask you one question, but you kind of get what I'm going for.
Yeah,
here.
I get what you're saying. So my philosophy towards the game 100% changed when I switched off of. I think I was maining Falco at the time, and my friends were kind of telling me like, "Dude, your Mario is just like." It's so much better than all your other characters for no reason. Like, why don't you just main Mario? And I'm like, well, Mario kind of sucks because like he's a mid tier. He's not good. I mean, I'm already not good as Falco, so what is switching, like 10 tier or 10 like spots on the tier list lower? What's that going to change? But I remember the first tournament I was switching off, like I was playing Falco and Mario a little bit in tournament, and a person at the time, his name was Cobb or Kob. He was, I think, PR'd at the time, and I played. It was a best of 3 set. I played 2 games of Mario or I played 2 games of Falco and 1 of Mario, and the 1 game that I won was with Mario, a PR guy. I'd never even practiced Mario before, and I just kind of brought him out. And that happened at the same tournament. There was a after I lost an intermediate bracket or whatever, there was a Smash Ladder kind of thing running. So this guy, you might have heard of him. He's been on the come up like really recently. His tag is Zetz. He was playing the first game we played in the ladder was a Falco Ditto, and he 4-stocked my Falco. And then I switched to Mario on a counter pick. I think I went FD or Stadium or something like that, and I beat his Falco. And this guy is like PR'd in Columbus, and at the time Columbus was seen as better as Northeast Ohio. We've always kind of had like a little bit of a regional, what's the word I'm looking for, like rivalry going on.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. And I took a game off this guy's Falco, and he ended up switching to his own Mario, and then it went last stock, last hit or whatever. And I think like at that point, I was like, okay, I'm done trying with Falco. I'm going to play Mario because clearly this is working out for me. So when I finally decided to play Mario, at that time, my goals never really changed because there was a player in the region. His tag was Dempt, and he used to play a lot, and he was always regarded as like the gatekeeper to the PR essentially. He's a super strong fundamental player, and also like crazy swaggy and techie. He's everybody's like favorite player in the region, mostly. And he was always kind of seen as like
He's a Marth, right?
Yeah, he's a Marth. He plays Marth in Fox.
I've played him.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time, so you might have played him. Maybe at that bar tournament you went to.
Yeah, that's why I played him. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So my one goal was always to beat Dempt because Dempt was everybody's kind of like this guy. Dempt is the guy to beat. Like if you can beat Dempt, like you are that guy. Like you are seen as a threat in the region. So that was one of my goals always. That never really changed. And just the normal, like being PR, getting high ranks and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So in terms of those, my goals never really changed. My brick fundamentals of the game was always just to have fun, as much fun as I can. I still get like the anxiousness or anxiety or whatever, that happens, just tournament nerves. Like that's right. Everything, even though I'm just going to have fun and have a good time. So none of that has really changed. The only major thing that has changed is what I want out of Melee. And at this point, I really just, it's funny because A-Rookie is a giant inspiration for me, huge. And it's hard for me to say I want to be the best Mario because I don't want to, because what that's saying in turn is, I don't mean it, but what I'm saying is I want to be better than A-Rookie. And It's like, I do want to be the best Mario and I do want to be better than A-Rookie, but it's so hard for me to say that as someone who like, it's like saying, this guy I really look up to and is a giant inspiration for me. I want to be better than him. Right. It's hard to say that, but that is kind of the truth. That's where I want to be. But like with what I say to not say that is like, I want to be regarded as one of the best Marios. When people mention Marios, they mention Koopa Troopa, A-Rookie, Slim Shady, and Scorpidorp. I want to be that 5th one. I want them to mention Small Hands Brian. Like that is what I say. Which is 100% true. I honestly believe I want that more than to be the best Mario, but just because that's a philosophy of mine with team oriented and not taking the spotlight, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
I like to be put into a group of people, but regarded highly in that group. If that makes more sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all kind of chasing that in a sense. Like we want to contribute to the overall, community or the overall kind of essence of Melee. We want to put our part in, and be recognized for it because we're spending a lot of money. We're, putting a lot of time in and making sacrifices. Like as Melee players, like you don't like you want to be regarded based on how you feel like you deserve it. So what am I really trying to say? We're doing a lot and all we want is to be kind of among other people doing the same thing. That's kind of what I mean. Um,
Gotcha. I
and
see what you're
respected
saying.
and respected for it,
Mhm.
And I think that's a baseline that is common with all Melee players. Like obviously people have different goals, people at different stages who have been playing for different periods of time and in different regions where, all the factors of how good you get, how fast, are a little bit out of our control in a sense. Um, so, you say you don't explicitly solo practice, or at least not too much. But you say net play is very common. Do you think net play is improving your gameplay? Do you think it's working for you?
Net play has improved my, game sense far better than anything else. Um, I always kind of felt like reviewing sets and analytics, like analyzing sets and stuff, always really helped me. But there's not much material to go off of. I think I've probably watched like every A rookie set that I can. Um, and what's funny with that is me and him don't even really play alike. Like I look for situations where like I lose in. It's like like big things with Fox edge guarding, Marth edge guarding, etc. Situations that I feel stuck in, I'll go watch his sets. But in terms of like neutral and punish, we really do not play like similar whatsoever. But that is mostly how I learn, is through analyzing and watching and going over situations and theory crafting, stuff like that. It's not necessarily just playing the game over and over and over, because I have a harder time like adapting or recognizing situations as they happen. I'll say like as they happen for the first time without some sort of backup game plan to go around that.
Hmm.
So that's why Slippy is kind of a big thing for me recently. Like, because if I play a set with a really good Fox, namely I do want to mention Smoky Blunts. We've been playing a ton. He's one of my favorite Foxes to play on net play. And we all like every single time we play, it's just like I'm sweating. It's just so close every single game. So, I'll go back and I'll watch our, 40 minutes of Slippy, and I'll see like where he's punishing me, because it always kind of seems that he adapts to me faster than I can to him. So I go watch and I really take the time to analyze like what was working now and what is not working, and then what he's doing to beat me that I can't adapt to. So it's not necessarily the playing the friendlies, it's mostly analyzing the friendlies is how I see my improvement.
Wow. And then I'm sure like you aim to implement that next time you play and you just
Exactly.
loop it over and over. Wow.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't even think about Slippy in just like a personal use type of way. It's obviously way easier than, record like screen capturing for hours at a time and then
Yep.
sifting through that. So I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's really
Yeah.
sick. I mean,
Yep.
Smoky Blunt's obviously one of the best like net play people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, from my region, like I know the guy pretty well. Definitely insanely good. So
Oh
it's not that you're just playing net play, you're playing good players first.
yep.
Players that, can come out and beat you, and then you're turning that into your own kind of VOD studying session.
Yep.
And it's funny how there's probably like under 100 melee VODs of Mario.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, really. There's really not a lot. It
so
sucks.
that's 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 amazing. Do you ever talk to a rookie and do theory crafting with him or any other I mean, you said there's a few people in the Discord.
Hmm.
Do you do like heavy theory crafting with other Marios? Have you discovered anything with them?
Yeah, so specifically with a rookie, we have about 4 or 5 videos up on YouTube of about an hour long each, just analyzing matchups. we have Ices, Peach. I think we have Falco and Falcon, and I think maybe those are the only ones. And they're up on his channel. That was before I even started like trying streaming or doing my own stuff. But that he is the main guy I go to for theory crafting and any type of analyzing or whatever. There have been many times where it's just like 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm just like, hey, like when I have Fox at this percent or whatever, what should I be doing if I'm under a platform or something like that? Because he's been playing the game for probably like 3 or 4 times longer than I have, right? So he's seen those situations and he has that recognition of what to do and when. So he is always my go-to guy. But the Mario Discord is kind of it's just inactive, I guess is the best way to put it. It's not that I know that there are Mario players, but I think that there's not enough drive and there's not just enough people to keep that energy flowing. There's not that type of we got to get Mario to, 10th on the tier list. He's better than Doc. He's this and that. Like, I'm the only person that is truly that strong of an advocate for it. And that's why I do my own stuff. Like, I practice, like, or I lab. When I lab, like, I'll lab for like an hour. Like, I have this new Punish game I've developed on Falcon. Even works like under platforms and stuff. It's all about throws and regrabs and up tilt and all that stuff. And I really kind of feel like I'm the only person doing that besides Rookie. And that's kind of the problem. Like, I will go to the Mario Discord as soon as I do it. I'll clip everything that I can, send them everything, my percents and my findings and everything, and let them know. But I'm kind of like the only person doing that.
Word. So do you think that there's an opportunity to start making content or start, any sort of content, I guess, like guides or kind of exhibitions on Mario?
Yeah, I have started very recently. I've started, making my own content. On Twitter, I'll post like clips and whatever. But on my YouTube, I think I only have I got like 3 or 4 things uploaded right now. I've done, fireball and neutral guides on specific characters. That's like about a 20-minute video. I've done things on auto cancel up air on platforms, or not auto cancel up air. What's aerial interrupt up airs. I did like a 5-minute showcase on that. One of his fastest tools on platforms is a auto cancel up air, or not. I keep saying that. Aerial interrupt up air on a platform. It's faster than a Waveland. It's I think you can even have a hitbox out with it, and you're like active in like 2 frames or something like that. You can do what you want in about 2 frames. It's absolutely insane. So, like things that I've discovered just through my own play, I'll make a video on that if there's really nothing. Like, I'm not going to make, some up B wall jump tutorial video just because there's already like 3 of those. The only thing that I've been working on that I'm going to post soon is my own practice, guide. Like I said, I don't really practice, but like, there are things that I do while I'm playing that I do as practice. Like when me and my friends are hand warming, or if we're just playing friendlies or whatever, I'll work on those things. But I don't really have like some sort of regiment I follow, and I'll just be like, okay, it's 9 o'clock. This is my practice hour. I'm gonna practice till 10 and do all these things. Like, I don't do that.
Right.
But there are certain things that I will do that I do want to kind of tell the Mario people maybe they should be working on that too, because it's got more just like. It's kind of like, it's those like martial arts tropes. I'll even talk about Karate Kid, like wax on, wax off stuff. Like, he's just waxing a car, but when he gets into the, his fight, that stuff comes into play. That's essentially kind of how I'm thinking about it. Is like there's things that I do that's like it has so much use in so many different situations, and maybe situations that you don't even realize. And that's kind of what I work on in just in friendlies and stuff like that. I'll work on those, but never that solo practice stuff. That's just not fun to me.
Right. Do you feel like if you start putting all these kind of trade secrets out, it's going to hurt you result wise, or do you think you could push past that?
Oh, that's not even on the agenda. I'm not worried about this hurting my placements or anything like that. I feel like no shots or anything to anybody, but I do kind of feel like most Melee players are too arrogant to realize what potentials low tiers and mid tiers can have.
So
I
true.
feel like I could get 1 million views on a YouTube video, but 90% of those Fox players that watch it are gonna click off in the first 10 seconds because they're like, Psh, Mario, what do I gotta worry about? Like there's so much. There's I'll go in. I do want to talk about this tangent a little bit. I got some notes going, things I want to bring up, but I do kind of want to talk about it's not a hatred, but like the arrogance towards mid tiers and low tiers, kind of like what I was just talking about.
Okay.
There was a period in time when I was just starting to play Mario. I think I was probably in my 4th or 5th month, and I'm like, dude, this character is like so fun. Like, why didn't I try him earlier and all this stuff? And there were people that I was playing like friendlies, and people that I was kind of friends with did not want to play me at all. A lot of mid tiers, probably every single mid tier that I can think of, and low tier has experienced this like, oh, you play Ganondorf. I'm never gonna play a Ganondorf in tournament. Like, why am I gonna play you in friendlies and waste my time?
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a giant issue in the region because we have like our own Northeast Ohio Discord. And this was about like a year and a half ago. There were some specific people who would like not play me, and the problem was like I respect honesty. So if they're like, oh, I don't really want to play against a Mario right now, like even still I'll get denied friendlies even though I've made some serious strides with my character because I don't want to play against a Mario. And I appreciate it when people tell me, like, although I still I do despise it when people say I'm not playing you because of your character, but I would rather people say I'm not going to play you because I don't want to waste my time on a mid tier or whatever. I'll take that. I still don't like it, but I would rather like not have them beat around the bush, which is what they kind of did to me in those like all those years ago. They would tell me like, we'll play later. I got tournament matches coming up, and then we never play. And then I'll tell them, okay, well, let's play friendlies on net play. Like, what's stopping you? Then they're like, I got something coming up, etc. Like they just like totally lie to me and just not play me, but they don't have the courage or the balls even to just tell me that they don't want to play me because of my character. I really hate that. And that was a giant issue in my region it was probably lasted about 2 months. And those people, like they're kind of on my shit list a little bit just because like that hurt me as a growing player. Like I want to play these people. You guys are good players, and I got to work on my matchups. I want to play you guys. Like, what's the problem? And they wouldn't play me. So that was kind of a big issue as a growing player. And I try to advocate to any top tier player that I can. Like I hold a very high respect for those people that are not only willing but eager and excited to play mid tiers. You being one of them, especially, like because you can tell like when someone is impressed by a mid tier, they will let you know.
Yeah.
There's people like there was you and Darktooth, Reeve is a big one. Like, and these are good players too, and they love even friggin' Ice. He's hit like top 10, top 15, like best player in the world, and his practice partner was a Mario. Like there are so many things that you can learn from a mid tier that are not going to be challenged by a high tier. Like if you play, Fox Falco Ditto, or not like Fox Falco friendlies like an hour every day, you're going to get really good at the Falco matchup. But there's certain approaches and certain punishes that are not going to work on a Marth, and they're not going to work on a Sheik, and especially your punish game is going to be tested on someone like a Mario. Like you don't have a bazillion guaranteed things on a Mario like you would a Fox or a Marth or something like that. There are so many things that get tested by a mid tier, especially one that knows how to use their character. And if you just decide, well, I'm never going to play one, you're gonna wonder why you're plateaued at such a bad spot for so long. And then you finally start to, open your eyes and you play those lower tier characters and you're like, wow, there's so much about this character that I never even realized that I could do. Like,
totally agree.
Such a mind-blowing thing that people are so arrogant to playing these mid and low tier characters. Like, a big thing is, not really a big thing, but rankings, not even PR. If I just, because like I said, I'll spend a lot of my time on net play and Faster Melee Discord and all that stuff. I'm a purple belt there, and I've hit master rank on NetPlay. So, like, and those are both kind of, respectable rankings, I guess. like to be denied that, like you can see, I've worked, like I have tried to be good, and just based on rankings, you can see that this guy is no slouch. So like if I'm not some random scrub, what is the problem with playing me? Like you're gonna learn a lot, but if their eyes are closed to that, then that's on them, and they're gonna wonder why they're not making any improvements, and they're gonna run into that Ganon or that Mario or whatever in bracket and be really upset. And they had that opportunity, they just never took it.
Yeah, I mean, I to a couple of your points, like playing against, I was so excited to get more games against you. I think the only reason I happened to take our tournament set was because I have eagerly played every new character that I experience, every Yoshi that I meet, and I'm like, dude, you're good. I just like sit down. I'm like, yo, we got to play this more. Like, it's very exciting to me to learn, to test my ability to adapt and learn to, like you said, combos that aren't going to work, like the standard stuff that are, is imprinted into my brain. I have to throw that away, but the pressure is on. So all that just like gives me such a different kind of rush that I'm actually really shocked that these players don't want to play. And I think a lot of things is ego. I think a lot of the way that Melee players talk to each other is based off of either like ranking or tier lists.
Yep.
And they try to quantify skill and results and what should or should not happen, and they'll take short-term losses as like big, like, ego deaths, and all these problems that arise from that hurt people like you who are honest players, who are good players, that for just because you happen to pick a character for some reason that makes you less interesting to play against, it's so ironic and weird and stupid that it just it hurts the people denying you too. They're not getting that same level of experience, and I think one big thing that playing playing against mid tiers, the Ganons, the Links, all that, what that does is it teaches you how to figure out what's working and what's not working immediately. And a lot of times you'll play like a Falco or like a Marth or something, like top tiers that you should have the, quote unquote flowchart combos on, but they happen to be really good at DIing like one specific thing. Like they're, if you up throw them, they always have really good like slight DI and they get out of that, or, they always DI out of your up throw up air, or any of these things. So learning to recognize what's not working and then stop doing it immediately, that's a skill that playing mid-tier characters will teach the Spaceys and the Marths out there, the Falcons, etc. And I hope that message gets across, that there's a huge, huge benefit to just getting washed by someone who plays a worse character than you. Like, you should seek or players should seek the opportunity to get a unique experience in this game. And I think it's just immaturity. I think as you and it sucks that you have to kind of like develop your brand to get respect. Like,
yeah,
that's
it
pretty
does.
whack.
That sucks, and it's hard too. It's very hard.
But honestly, you're at the point now where you've got it. Like, I don't think you'll need to push that much harder for that much longer if you're kind of just keeping the course that you're on right now, and not I don't think you need to push yourself beyond your comfort zone, or grind for 3 hours a day to get to the point where people will respect you. I can't believe that's even like considered, but that gives me hope, that you can kind of usher in this new energy of play who you want to play what feels good, and try your hardest. It doesn't have to be either or. You could play to have fun and spend time to improve, regardless of character.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, and that's kind of like what you were saying, is how people aren't eager to play those mid-tier characters and stuff. I've noticed one thing is like a lot of people are eager to play people, I'll say, let's say like outer region, and sometimes even people coming from other countries, they're very eager to play because they're like, whoa, I wonder what's going on in Europe. Like if they go to a major or something and they see a European players and stuff, they're like, I wonder what's their neutral, because it's a lot different. And there's even a Brazilian Mario main is I think he just goes by Brazilian man. And his they don't have a lot of strong competition out there, but they do have a lot of mid-tier players. They have a lot of low-tier players. Just based off of what I've talked to the Mario guy about, um, they're extremely neutral based and stuff like that. So it's like to be able to they're excited to play new neutrals from other countries or other states or whatever. But when it comes to those new characters, they're so unwilling for some reason. I've never really understood that. Like, what if you're so excited to play against new neutral and stuff? Play against a mid tier character. Like it really bugs me, and it's like it sucks for them because they think they're doing themselves a favor by not wasting their time playing a mid tier, but they're really just hurting themselves, and they don't realize it, and it sucks. But if you're that arrogant and you're not open minded, then you don't deserve to get any better. Honestly, it sucks, but that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah, they don't want to lose to a mid tier. They don't want their friends to make fun of them or to feel like, every Melee player thinks that once they get to a certain point with their sick chic, that I should crush every low tier.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, it is a little demoralizing if you're around a culture that kind of idolizes top players, top characters. Melee is a very top heavy game.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of hard to understand the nuance of where this game has gone, what's possible with every character. Getting dunked on by a DK doesn't feel good, but there's got to be more of an understanding that, like, if you are getting beaten by a Fox that just does crazy tech skill, it's easy to be impressed. But if you're getting beaten by a Mario that's just like comboing you super well and has a good neutral, there's not a lot to like point at. It's just like you got beat.
Yep.
You got beat, and I think that honesty is what scares people. But I think that'll go away with time.
Yeah,
Gonna,
we have like 3 mid-tier players in the top 10 right now. Like, it's a little controversial to say Falcon, but Falcon is not on Fox, Marth, Puff tier.
Sure.
But you got Falcon, you got Yoshi and Pikachu. It's like what else needs shown that these characters can't compete. The reason you don't see them very often is because people are so drawn to those top tier characters and stuff, just because it takes a lot, not necessarily takes a lot less work, because that's not really true, but it's more or less like it's easier to see like what needs improved, versus like when you're playing a mid tier, you always kind of have that thing like, maybe this character just isn't good enough, maybe this character can't do it. It's a lot of insecurity. But when you have like all those Foxes at the top and all those Falcos and Marths and stuff, you can see that your character can do it. It kind of gives you that push.
Yeah, and I've never had to figure anything out, like realistically. Like I've never had to sit down and be like, okay, there's a problem in front of me. What are my tools? What do I do? Like it never gets to that point. I just ask someone better or watch a video.
Exactly.
And bless my lucky stars. That's how it goes for me. But people out there, you got to know that there's people that are still having to die. Like Melee is such a complicated game that it took 15 years plus for that to be a reality for me, for Fox, for like the most played character. You can imagine every other character out there.
Yeah.
There's so much to dive into, every matchup, every, DI and percentage, like Jesus Christ.
I know.
So honestly, hats off to you, man. We're wrapping up a little bit here. I want to give you the floor to talk more broadly, but I want to compliment you first. Really glad I had you on. Like you really have a good like grasp on on your take. I feel like you're taking the game your way, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've never had like, an opportunity like this. Like I've had, um there's people like I mentioned earlier, like there was people like Reeve and like Darktooth and stuff, and they're like not necessarily, I won't say eager, but they're not like they're not unwilling to play a mid tier. Like, when I've played Reeve the few times I have, he's like, yeah, sure, Mario's a cool character, like you're crazy and stuff like that. But like you were like, I think you were the one that asked me to play later, right after our set, and you're so eager to play. Plus, like, you were so impressed by my Mario at however that happened. But um you invited me on your podcast, and it's like it's crazy that you are how you are. You know what I mean? Because like how I was just kind of explaining, like I went through so much, like people like pushing me away because of my character. Like it's crazy to believe that you are so like accepting and eager of a mid tier, and how you explain, like, are eager to play any mid tier that you can. You are so excited to play that because it challenges everything you've already known, and I know that to be reality of how improvement goes, just based off of how I was explaining. Not playing against mid tiers hurts. It's crazy to see a top tier recognize that as the reality, and still, just like you're kind of like the anti of everything I've believed going, coming up as to now, at least. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's cool to see someone, especially a top tier and especially a good player, recognize what we were just talking about as reality, and be so eager and willing and excited to play new characters and be challenged. Because
Yeah, man.
that's just been my reality.
Just don't listen to the shitters. If I get my way, there's gonna be more people like me. I think it's a really fun, healthy mindset, and it led us to have this really, interesting and different conversation, right now. So, are you going to Shine, by the way? What majors are you going to?
Not going to Shine, unfortunately. It wasn't necessarily between Shine and SmashCon, but I think my school, my college starts as soon as
Yeah.
Shine is over, and I was like, that's like kind of stressful.
Yeah.
But I am going to Big House,
Yep.
and I'm going to try my damnedest to go to Genesis this year, but that might be a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, man. Well, I hope to see you at Big House. Hope to see it soon. I like asking this final question. You are given tutelage of a player 1 year in. They have all the basics: wave dashing, L canceling. What is the most important lesson that you're going to drill into this player, and why?
Most important lesson, probably, man, there's so much that I've learned, where it's like I'm trying to think of what have I learned that took me so long to realize. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm not sure if I could drill anything into them. Basically, just based off of what I know, I want them to try their hardest to accept their own reality. I don't want them to be like, so. One thing I really don't like is fans are okay, but like fanatics, I really do not like. Like, they worship someone's every opinion. Especially the people like Hack's Money. He has some very bold opinions,
Right.
and to see people be like, oh well, Hack said this. I'm a big Hacks guy, stuff like that. I'm nothing on Hacks or anything. I just mean the people that have
Right.
that mentality to just follow whatever someone else says blindly. And I guess that kind of wraps back to what I was saying with people will accept, just because commentators say it, that Doc is better than Mario without having done any experience or any research on their own. They just accept it. I want my guy, if I got him for however long, I want him to be able to form his own opinions and not worry about what anybody else is saying. They can agree with it, but form your own stuff based on your own research first. Don't just blindly accept stuff.
Man, forge your own path, play your own character, take the game how you want to take it. Small Hands Brian, this has been a wonderful, wonderful time. I am so happy to have met you, to have played you. And yeah, man, I hope your career is long and fruitful.
Everything to you, just exactly as you said it, dude. It's been an amazing opportunity. You know, it's very enlightening to have met somebody like you, as we were just explaining, like to find someone who is finally like the opposite of everything I believed thus far. Like it's just an amazing opportunity, and I'm glad that you kind of you're so interested in my Mario and my play and mid tiers in general. It's awesome to have met you. It's
Well,
truly amazing.
selfishly, I just know that like this episode is going to be a hot commodity in about 6 months, and I'm gonna be really happy that I recorded you before your clout blew up. So this is for my purposes, this was a great decision. But
I
um,
appreciate that, man. I'll do my best. 6 months, you got it.
no pressure. But
No
I
pressure.
will delete this if you turn into nothing. All right.
All right. I'll take that on your promise.
All
That'll be
right,
the
man.
decide. Yeah.
Really happy you came on, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.
Yep. Awesome, man.
Word.
Yep.
All right, man. See
Have a
ya.
great night.
You too.